Hey everybody, what's up? We just hit 200,608 kilometers on this car, and I've owned it now for about a year and a half, and I wanted to give you guys an update on how it's like to live with a Mercedes SLK R170 from 1999, and this is the 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine with a 5-speed manual transmission. I have a couple of videos on this car where I kind of explain the work I've done to it. I've done quite a few things. You know, you can see here I have rewrapped the center console here in carbon look cling wrap, which looks kind of nice. I have fixed the lights in the climate control module over there. There's a video on that. I've also fixed the T5 dashboard lights. You can see here it's LED based and it's dimmable, so that all works. I've changed out some of the leather upholstery here in my seat. I've even kind of shown how to remove the seats. You know, I've actually cleaned out the ashtrays here, done a lot of that, refixed the windows, fitted a dash cam. So that's all really cool. We also, just because we hit the 200,000 mark, changed the oil on the car and the filter. I do that every 5,000 kilometers just to kind of make sure this car drives nice and well. And also I have a bunch of videos on how to run the diagnostics with this Android OBD2 Bluetooth tool and scanner. Now, let's talk a bit about the bad points. As you can imagine, the car is old. Things creak, you know. Also, when you drive, because the chassis isn't very stiff, being a hardtop convertible, it creaks a lot when you go over bumps or when you're braking hard. It's not as quiet as other cars. The suspension is also very, very stiff, I find. So it's certainly not as smooth to drive with on these kind of roads here, which is this kind of like cobblestone. But overall, it steers really nicely. It sits very low to the ground. It turns in well. I did see a review against a Audi TT and the Porsche Boxster in which the SLK came in last for driving, actually. Having said that, for some sporty, fun kind of driving, certainly very cool. Now, this engine type, the 4-cylinder, is not very fast. It will get you to about 100 kilometers an hour in 8.9 seconds. That is nothing to write home about. So, but if you can live with a regular sort of sports car for everyday driving, this is really, really cool. The fuel economy isn't too bad. It uses regular. So that's all very nice. Another thing that happened is the mass airflow sensor actually was faulty twice. I used cheap aftermarket parts, so that didn't really work very well. Also, this is the original Bosch part, so you had to get the one that does the O2 sensor non-assisted cat, because the other version then results in rough idles. So get the one without the assistance. There's 2 of them, bit of a caveat. Also, I had to change a couple of headlight bulbs out, quite a few of them. The coolant reservoir container actually broke. This pipe was shot, so I replaced that. I cleaned out the valves over here. So quite a few things. The fenders on this car, they're notorious for rusting, and I've actually repainted this maybe half a year ago. You can see here on the inside of the fender also starting to rust again, so I'll have to redo that. Notorious issue on these cars. Also kind of here on the back next to the Vario roof, it started rusting, so I had to touch that up as well. So the keys also broke on the car, so the metal bit here snapped off. So I actually had to go to Mercedes and replace one of these. It cost me 250 bucks to get that done. I went out and got a fake replica key, but then of course it didn't fit properly, didn't work with the chip. So that was a complete and utter waste of time. And this right here is actually the toolbox for the car. I've got various bits and pieces in there, everything I need. Angle grinders, the jack stands, all my wrenches, ratchets, whatever I kind of need to fix the car. As you are watching my channel, I'm going to assume that you know I do most of the maintenance myself. And I can tell you some of the maintenance items have been a struggle because I did not have the right tooling. One of those was actually changing out the manual gearbox oil. That was a super challenge. Also getting to the differential, I did that too. Was not as challenging, but still quite a bit of work. And that's mainly because there's also not that much information for this car. out on the web when it comes to more specific or specialist kind of things. But generally, you know, I have a voltage tester. I use these K&N oil filters because you can get them on Amazon. So they're about 15 bucks each. I get normal oil, cheap oil, and replace that every about 5,000 kilometers. I actually also created a neat little maintenance spreadsheet like this. Here I kind of track all the work I've been doing, the dates when I've been doing it, how many times I've changed the oil, so what kind of oil type goes in, engine temperature, tire pressure, quantity of oil, coolant, engine type, specification numbers, cabin air filter types, mass air sensor types, and what kind of work I have done. For instance, here at the top, the water pump, so for the coolant, that pump broke some time ago. I had that done. The timing belt actually also broke. I had to replace the rear lights a couple of times. I did some detailing work, so actually buffing and waxing the car. And then also all the other work I talked about already. I have done in the time that I've had the car about 25,000 kilometers, and I have changed the oil about 4 times, and I've changed the filter twice. So I change the filter every second time, which is slightly more economical, and as these filters are pretty okay, I will leave them at that. I have also actually treated the undercarriage with rust protectant on the exposed bits, and I've also sort of put tire shine on all the rubber parts just to make them last slightly longer. As an SLK owner in this world, you're not alone. This forum right here, the SLK World, has quite a few very reliable and knowledgeable people on here who can help you out with issues, driving tips. You can post pictures of your car top down or just the nice kind of clean you've given it. So these guys have helped me out every once and again, especially when you get these quirky problems that you don't really know how to deal with. And they're all enthusiasts, right? So all of the guys in here, they really like their cars, they go for drives, and it's a good place to be a member of. And they're always welcoming to new members. So if you do have an SLK, I would very warmly recommend you join the SLK World. But the single most coolest thing about this car, which I haven't really specifically mentioned, but which is a no-brainer, it is a convertible driving top down, sunny day, is just absolutely amazing. It's really, really good fun. I'm a top down fan, and where I live, because it rains a lot, the hardtop is an absolute lifesaver. I have heard from people that the hardtop mechanisms, they can tend to fail, so they do need some maintenance. I haven't done that yet myself, but I will be intending to do that in future. Also, a small annoyance maybe, it has staggered wheels, so the wheel sizes are not the same front and back, so you can't rotate the tires around to get some economy out that way. So you need to replace them as per custom order. But, you know, there are plenty of websites here in Europe, at least, where you can just place your orders and most parts are available. I do have to say, when it comes to specialist knowledge, like for instance, you know, things around PCV valves or catalyst issues or anything of the like, Mercedes-Benz customer service tends to be completely useless. They know nothing anymore about this car. They find it very hard to retrace. So unless you can give them a specific part number, they will not be able to help you very much. So that's why it is really a true DIYer's kind of car. And, you know, I have done quite a lot of work to it, and I will expect that I will probably have to do a lot more work to it. If you have to kind of go to a garage and get it done, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Yeah, so I think the work I've done on the car would have probably already set me back 8,000 to 10,000 euros. The car isn't worth much more than 3,000 euros on the second-hand market, so it makes no sense doing that. It is not a car that's gonna increase in value. There's no amortization on that. So unless you can do this yourself, I would completely recommend you actually stay away from this vehicle. But if you can do it yourself, and if you like to do it yourself, then this thing is great fun. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on my channel, of course, on what I do with this car. And in summary, what can I say? How is it like living with it? Yeah, it can be painful at times. It's a lot of work. I have small things breaking all the time, and then I have to go and figure out what's actually going on. But I do end up being able to fix everything myself, so that's really nice. Also, it's turned into a little bit of a YouTube hobby, as you can see. I just kind of document everything I do, so it helps you guys out, and that's really cool. I get comments from people, you know, looking for the same kind of information, and they say, hey, that's really cool. I've been looking for this everywhere. So that makes these videos worthwhile. And the other thing, of course, is because the platform of the SLK 200 is also used for a lot faster cars, also later the McLaren versions, it can do an autobahn run pretty nicely. You can really max it out around 200 kilometers an hour, and it will do that too. So overall, yeah, I like it. I'm not going to sell it. I am going to keep this car, and maybe, you know, one day I'll get a second car. But I don't see myself selling it. So it is a acquired taste, but if you are thinking about getting one, I would say do it. Hey, so as usual, thanks for watching this video. I know it wasn't so much about repairs this time. It was just kind of the status update around, you know, hitting 200,000 kilometers on the clock, owning the car for a year and a half, and my experience of owning it and maintaining it to date. So if that was helpful to you, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, always nice to read those, and subscribe to the channel. Peace out.